we are on the road to WrestleMania, which means my favorite event of the entire year is coming up, and that is the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. More specifically, the Royal Rumble match itself. Between the men's and the women's 2 Royal Rumbles, it has become a complete spectacle. It has become a lot of people's favorites event of the year, a lot of people's favorite pay-per-view of the year, and it is the most exciting, anticipated event, more than WrestleMania, more than a ton of pay-per-views that the WWE puts out nowadays. So I'm going to give you guys my top 20 Royal Rumble matches of all time. Let me preface by saying this to start. This is my opinion. These are my favorite Royal Rumble matches of all time. I'm separating the actual Royal Rumble match from the actual pay-per-view. I don't want to mix the two because there's been some Royal Rumble pay-per-views that have had great men's and women's matches and horrible cards, and vice versa. There's been horrible cards and really good Royal Rumble matches. So I'm strictly giving you my favorite men's and women's Royal Rumble matches of all time. So it's going to be my top 20. Let me get right into it, starting with number 20. And excuse me if I'm looking down on my list. I can't memorize 20 different things at once. But it is the 2006 Royal Rumble match won by Rey Mysterio. And if you remember this Royal Rumble match, it was Rey Mysterio and Triple H to start it, and they wound up being 2 of the final 3 participants in the match. Rey Mysterio went the distance and won it from the number 1 spot. And the star power in this match wasn't too great, but thankfully there was a storyline with the unfortunate passing of Eddie Guerrero earlier in the prior year, where Rey Mysterio was able to dedicate this match to Eddie Guerrero and win the match. Going on to number 19. So that is the 1990 men's Royal Rumble match. I'm going to say men's, even though there was no women's Royal Rumble match, but the 1990 men's Royal Rumble match. If you were to look up Hall of Fame Royal Rumble matches, this is your match, because in this match, you had some of the greatest Hall of Famers of all time with the likes of Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels. You had Jake the Snake Roberts. You had Macho Man Randy Savage, Ted DiBiase, Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, Rowdy Piper, Mr. Perfect. One of the most star-studded Royal Rumbles of all time, with it being won by one of the best of all time, which is Hulk Hogan. He wound up winning that match. Moving on to number 18, the first ever women's Royal Rumble match in 2018. This match was won by Asuka in 2018. Outstanding showcase for women's wrestling in this match. You had Michelle McCool, Molly Holly, Tori Wilson, Lita, Trish Stratus. You had so many of the greats come out for the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble and make it such a great thing. And what I like that WWE did for this one, which a lot of people don't remember, is they had both women's champions at the time, it being Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, sit at commentary while this match was taking place. I thought that was a pretty cool aspect to have them on commentary while this match was going on, to see who would win, who would get chosen. And then the caveat to all that, the cherry on top of the cake or ice cream or whatever you're eating, Ronda Rousey debuts after that match, and it was one of the best debuts of all time. In hindsight, yes, Rousey didn't become what a lot of people wanted her to be in WWE, but at that time, one of the biggest attractions to come to WWE from the UFC. Moving on to number 17, this was the Stone Cold Steve Austin stealing the Royal Rumble match in 1997. So, right before the Attitude Era started, this was the WWE was starting to pick it up a little bit with Stone Cold Steve Austin, monster heel at the time, and he was becoming a heel, but the heel that was getting cheered a lot. So slowly but surely, that Austin character was getting molded into one with this match. And you had Stone Cold, when I say steal the match, if you're not aware, in this Rumble, Stone Cold Steve Austin wins his first ever Royal Rumble. He gets thrown out by Bret Hart, and his 2 feet hit the floor, but the refs were too distracted by something else that was going on by the ramp. So Austin snuck back in. He throws out Bret Hart, The Undertaker, and Vader, and he winds up winning the Royal Rumble. Technically, he won the Royal Rumble, which, that by Gorilla Monsoon, that was nixed. And there was a Final Four pay-per-view the following month with the individuals that Stone Cold Steve Austin eliminated. But it was a really good it was a really good twist at the time of a really good swerve at the time of getting somebody who shouldn't have won, and then the referees being distracted. We're going to go to number 16, and that is the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble match. This was when Bianca Belair became an absolute star. She wound up winning the Royal Rumble match. This one wasn't easy. This was the Royal Rumble match that during the pandemic. So, you know, to perform in front of an empty stadium or an empty arena with just the Thunderdome crowd, which was just the piped-in noise, the piped-in crowd noise, and then the monitors, not an easy thing to do if you're a performer. Not much to remember out of this except for the fact that Bianca Belair completely showed out and dominated. You had Billie Kay at the time, which a lot of people like that resume gimmick that she had. I thought it was pretty funny. So that was actually a bright spot in that Royal Rumble, and Bianca Belair actually showing out and winning it all at the end of it. Next, we go on to number 15, the 2002 Royal Rumble match. Now, this is the one I just recently watched the most. So you had such an obvious winner in Triple H. He was just out for 8 months because of the quadriceps injury. So when he came back, it was pretty much set in stone he was going to win that Royal Rumble match. You had a lot of guys, when I'm watching this match, a lot of guys who have passed away, which is extremely unfortunate. You know, Test, the Big Boss Man, just to name a few. But Mr. Perfect made his return to the WWE after the invasion, and he never showed up until his contract ran out. So seeing Mr. Perfect in the final four of this match was really cool to see. He passed away as well. So this was the one that The Undertaker was eliminated by Tough Enough winner Maven, which was a huge shock. And technically, to this day, Maven has still never been eliminated from the Royal Rumble. So if Maven ever sees this video, just know you're still in the Royal Rumble match. And if you ever want to get back in, you are completely allowed to. So I don't know if there's a statute of limitations, but this was the final Royal Rumble match that Stone Cold Steve Austin participated in. So at the time, you never thought that would be the case, but looking back at it now and knowing that, it's extremely sad for that was his final Royal Rumble match. But Triple H winning that match was really cool. And if you're a fan of the Attitude Era, this was just post Attitude Era, and tons of stars in this match. Excuse me. We're going to number 14, which was the rare SmackDown Royal Rumble that they had on a January 29th episode in 2004, which was won by Eddie Guerrero. It was a 15-man Royal Rumble with commercials and everything. If you get a chance to look back at it, it's on YouTube. Eddie Guerrero won this match, and Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle went on to have an outstanding rivalry that year. So, and it came to fruition once at WrestleMania 20 with these two going at it. So we're moving on to number 13, and this was 2016. This was the world champion. I always forget, the WWE Championship was on the line in this match. Roman Reigns coming through at number 1, going the distance. This was the debut of a lot of guys, AJ Styles, and the fans were just not behind. The fans were just not behind Roman Reigns at all. And with Triple H coming in and taking the title from Roman Reigns and actually becoming champion, it's a rarity that the World Championship was on the line during a Royal Rumble. It makes it just a little more exciting. But so yeah, this one always holds a place because it's like one of the last Attitude Era guys winning a Royal Rumble, and it feels like it's a year ago, but really we're going on almost 10 years now with that Royal Rumble. So moving on to number 12, and it was the most previous Royal Rumble, this past one, 2023, Cody Rhodes outlasting Gunther in the 2023 Men's Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes much deservingly won that match. It was a secret without being a secret that Cody Rhodes was deserving to win that match. He came back to try and finish his story, and it's still going on today. So moving forward to this month's Royal Rumble in 2024, hopefully at that time Cody could finish it. And if not, I don't know what the hell they're going to be doing with him. But last year was really good. Brock Lesnar was in this. Brock Lesnar's been in a lot of these. and he might show up on this list, but there was Logan Paul and Ricochet's spot in that match was outstanding, and I had a really good time watching that one last year. Our shortest Royal Rumble on the list, the 2010 Men's Royal Rumble. The CM Punk stole the show here up until Triple H came out to try and take over, and this was middle of WrestleMania 26. Shawn Michaels being obsessed with ending the Undertaker's streak, putting his career on the line in the final months, and there was just a complete swerve when Shawn Michaels eliminated Triple H in this match. It was really cool to see that. Edge coming back at number 30 from his Achilles injury, winning this match was a big surprise. Nobody expected him to come back. And now we're moving into the top 10. And the top 10 is these all hold a little bit of a special place. Not that everything is from my era, but just watching these, I got a lot of joy and excitement out of. Then the first one in the top 10, number 10, the 2003 Ruthless Aggression, beginning of the Ruthless Aggression era Royal Rumble match, right? This was the Brock Lesnar coming out party, it seemed like, right? So there was the first one with 15 members from Raw, 15 members from SmackDown. Chris Jericho screwed over Shawn Michaels, the number one entrant sneaking up from behind him, coming out. Jericho had one of the greatest performances of all time. Batista and John Cena's first ever Royal Rumble. And Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, Batista, and Kane being your final four. You don't know who's going to win that match, right? Because you had all these guys in it, but youth did prevail, and Brock Lesnar won the 2003 Royal Rumble. On to number 9 is when the 2009 Men's Royal Rumble, when Randy Orton stole the show completely, right? This one was the epitome of Randy Orton just swooping in with his legacy lapdogs in Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase, and completely used them to get himself to the final section of the Royal Rumble and win the match. Rob Van Dam returned that night. It was really cool to see Rob Van Dam come back. But with the final four being Triple H, Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, and a sneaky Randy Orton, it was really cool to see Orton come back and outlast Triple H, who was in there for 50 minutes that match. Moving on to number 8, and it was the infamous 2005 Royal Rumble finish during the Ruthless Aggression era, and that is the John Cena and Batista double feet hitting the floor at the same time. Vince McMahon coming out and tearing both of his quads, getting into the ring. It was an extremely funny thing to watch. They restarted the match, and Cena was able to eliminate Batista. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. Batista was able to eliminate Cena and go on to WrestleMania and win that match. But the ending of that match was completely chaotic. And looking back on it now, knowing that Vince had torn both of his quads, getting into the ring was extremely funny and probably painful. But he did such a great job of keeping his composure and telling the guys how to finish the match. So moving on to number 7. It was the 2018 Men's Royal Rumble match. So at this point, it seemed like the WWE was taking a complete turn for a lot of fanfare, and what they were doing was setting up the Shinsuke Nakamura, who was the 2018 Men's Royal Rumble winner, and they were setting him up for AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Was going to be a huge clash, but it turned out to be completely underwhelming and completely disappointing. And it seemed like right after Shinsuke Nakamura won the Royal Rumble, the WWE just did not know what to do with him and did not know how to put him over. And to this day, Shinsuke Nakamura is just kind of in no man's land. And they got him on these unnecessary feuds with people trying to boost up his heel run, and it's just not clicking with the fans. Nobody really cares anymore. It's an extremely unfortunate thing, but that match itself was really entertaining. Number 6, I was in attendance for number 6, the 2008 Men's Royal Rumble, when John Cena came back at Madison Square Garden, completely shocking. And he came back like 4 months early from his injury to win the match. And outstanding show at the Garden. They always do cool with that, like that cool ramp that's like 5 feet long, going from the entrance into the ring. Awesome entrance. But Cena coming back early, completely shocking. The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels kicking off that match was outstanding. And, John Cena winning that match at the end was great. 2020, the Men's Royal Rumble. Everybody looks back at this one as the return of Edge. So Edge was retired 9-10 years. Nobody knew he was ever going to come back. So he shockingly, that music hits. There was little rumors about him coming back, but the fact that he actually made it back was outstanding. That music hits, everybody goes nuts. You could see it in Edge's face that he was so emotional coming out to that crowd, but it was outstanding. Drew McIntyre went on to win that match, but this one for the Edge return alone is worth being in my top 5. So number 4, you could put any one of these next 3 or 4, and you could just mix and match them up because I enjoy watching every one of these just as much as the other. Number 4 is the 2001 Stone Cold Steve Austin legendary Royal Rumble match. This is one of the greatest Royal Rumble matches to ever take place in WWE. Kane was the absolute MVP of this match. One of the best performances in Royal Rumble history. He entered number 6, eliminating 11 guys in the Royal Rumble. So if you're not aware, the Royal Rumble has 30 participants inside of in the match. Kane eliminated 11 of those participants, which is more than a third of the people that actually enter the match. So complete dominant performance by Kane in that match. The Rock, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and just amazing talent. If I give a chance, it's the final Royal Rumble of the Attitude Era. And just looking back at it, makes me kind of sad that it's over, but we did get to experience it. And if you look back at that match, so much star power in it. And Austin and Kane being the final 2, and Austin getting Kane over the ropes with a steel chair to win his 3rd Royal Rumble. Number 3, the 2004 men's women. I don't know if it was men's women, but it might have been. The number 3 is the 2004 Royal Rumble match. This one was won by somebody who the WWE does not speak about anymore, which is Chris Benoit. It was all extracurricular things aside from what happened with Chris Benoit. Inside the ring, he was an absolute performer, one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time. This was only the 2nd time that a wrestler came in at number 1 and won the entire match. Randy Orton looked good in this match. Brock Lesnar planted Goldberg in this match. Kurt Angle took advantage, eliminating Goldberg, and the Goldberg thing just wasn't really working out for the WWE Universe at that time. But Chris Benoit going on to win this match, really cool match. At number 2, WWE Championship on the line, the 1992 Royal Rumble match where Ric Flair wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Final 4 of this match with Sid Justice, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Ric Flair. You had Roddy Piper in this. You had the early years of The Undertaker in this. You had Yokozuna. You had so many guys in this match, all competing for the vacant WWE Championship at the time. You could argue this is the greatest Royal Rumble match in the history of the WWE. Like I said before, you could put it, for me personally, you could put any one of these 2 or 3 or 4 up in that number 1 spot. And going on to the number 1 most enjoyable, my favorite Royal Rumble match of all time was the 2007 Men's Royal Rumble, where The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels completely stole the show. This was the first time ever that Raw, SmackDown, and ECW were all included in the Royal Rumble match. So nobody had any idea where it was going. Just some of the names that were involved, like I said, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Edge, Randy Orton, CM Punk, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, Kane, The Undertaker. I said his name twice. It doesn't matter. He's one of the greatest of all time. So the closing stages of this match were really good. You had Michaels and Undertaker mixing it up towards the end, producing complete magic. Undertaker stepped in the final 4, and Undertaker was able to eliminate Shawn Michaels for his first ever Royal Rumble win. Much deserved. See, and for the past X amount of years, with The Undertaker being involved in all these Royal Rumbles, he never really had to win these matches to be put over. He wasn't really that type of guy that needed a Royal Rumble victory. I think in 2007, what this did for The Undertaker was just add to his legacy. So you could have him as one of the greatest. He still is one of the greatest of all time. But what you do here is you add that Royal Rumble winner plaque and that award to his legacy. Not needed, but hell of a match. So those are my top 20 Royal Rumble matches of all time. Again, just my opinion. I'd love to see everybody else's favorite Royal Rumble matches. Comment down below all your favorite Royal Rumble matches. Put them in order. Tell me why my list sucks. I understand that my list might suck compared to everybody else's. And let me know. And thank you guys for watching. We eclipsed 200 subscribers on the channel, and we're continuing to grow. We appreciate you guys for everything and hitting the button and sharing it. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.